Greetings, everypony, and welcome to the second episode of Flankcaster. I'm your host, Formal Riot, and coming at you, we have Fix, and more Fix. So sit down, get comfortable, open up a nice bag of popcorn, and listen up. And here we are, so episode number 2, ready to get going. With me today is the one and only Paingod.
G'day guys, how you doing?
It's good. Doing well myself. So this is your first time on. Last time, as you know, we had 2 panelists. Only one today, so you're kind of all by your lonesome. Are you nervous at all, or?
Hell no, dude, I got plenty of experience with podcasts. Mostly experience running podcasts into the ground, but it still counts as experience.
You're not going to run this one into the ground, are you? That'd be disappointing.
I'll try not to. No promises.
Try not to. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no promises. Well, first off, I want to get into big exciting news coming out there for all you gamers in that MLP Online Chapter 1 has been released. You know, it is an online RPG battle type game. Personally, I haven't gotten into it yet, but I have downloaded it. I just haven't actually played it yet, but I'm super keen. How about yourself?
I was not informed of this. I need to download it immediately. Wait, I'm in a podcast.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm just holding you back now.
Nah, it's all good.
I guess that's what you get for trying to drive this thing into the ground.
Yeah, yeah, karma. It can be a filly.
I still think, the entire concept of the idea is interesting. With an RPG style, story-driven game, it could play out exactly like one of the more adventure-type episodes from the show, which would be quite cool. I know I'd be excited to see where they take it.
And that is really the kind of game that they should be pursuing, honestly. These kind of freeform RPGs.
Exactly.
I mean, we've seen the kind of stuff that people can do with just OCs.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. I mean, hopefully it plays out more so like a story than a bad fanfic, something, which we may get into more later on this show. However, it is cool to see. That being said, when it comes to creating stories that can captivate and drive an audience, it's a difficult thing to do. But our guest tonight has actually done so a number of times now. That is, of course, the StrumFreak. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for that, Formal. How you going?
I'm going great. Just for listeners out there who may not know who StrumFreak is just yet, I recommend looking this guy up, because not only does he write well, he also does music, and he dabbles in vectoring as well, so he's sort of the triple threat.
Yeah, I have a lot of spare time.
If only I still had that spare time. But still, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming. Are you excited?
I'm a little nervous. I haven't really done any interviewing stuff before.
Oh, so you're a Philly as well?
Yes.
Just surrounded by the newbies today. That's okay. It's all good fun. So first off, what I wanted to ask you essentially is, you've been writing a bit now. You've had one story, nearly get featured. If you take a look on FIM Fiction, it has 50 upvotes, no downvotes. That, of course, being A Life in Stone. I'd like to know, before we get into detail about that, though, I'd like to know more how you first came into writing fanfics in the first place.
It kind of started after I started watching the show. Somewhere before the season finale, I started reading a couple of them. Like, people at school kept recommending the bad ones and telling me what not to read, and of course I read them. Like, typical stuff like Cupcakes and Rainbow Factory. I went ahead and read them. They were terrible.
So straight to the grimdark, then?
Yeah, I'm still very into grimdark. It's kind of creepy, but I never really got affected by gory stories or anything.
Grimdark has always been, like, one of those more interesting aspects of the fandom, I feel, where everyone knows it's there and exists, but a lot of people try to ignore it, when some of it can actually be quite captivating and interesting. At least in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I know a couple of fics I wish I didn't read. There's a couple that broke me, but they were the ones that kind of inspired me to do the ones I did.
By break you, do you mean as in the subject was something terrible, like the fic that shall not be named, or is it that they're badly written?
No, it was actually just one, and it was very well written, and that's what scared me about it.
Which one was this, just out of curiosity?
It was called Shirley's Garden, but it was the second part of it, Scarlet Harvest Part 2.
Oh.
And it was one of the main 6 that died, and it was very depressing.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
I haven't yet to read this. I've yet to hear about this one. Like, I guess you don't want to give away which one of the main 6, but I'm interested, actually.
The first part wasn't that bad. It was just Scarlet Harvest. It's by, if you're curious, I have it written down here somewhere, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, I don't. Never mind. Just look up Shirley's Garden.
Okay. No worries, we'll get on that. So from there, I guess, you did started writing your own fics. As I mentioned before, two prominent ones. There was a Life in Stone, rather, which is a largely popular one where Twilight gets turned to stone, and then a Slender Man crossover, a rather Slender Pony type crossover thing. That one in particular is an interesting read.
Yeah, that one was my first popular one, actually.
Yeah, would you like to explain the process behind it?
It kind of wasn't that much to me. I mean, it wasn't very largely inspired. I played Slender once, if you guys know what that game is.
Everyone on the internet knows what that Slime game is.
I don't have very fond memories of the first time I played it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time I played it wasn't very fond memories, but almost instantly I just had ideas and had to write them down.
It has gone down well. I mean, from there you have the other one I was mentioning before, Life in Stone, where Twilight gets turned to stone.
That was a surprise idea. I mean, like, when I thought about Discord being in stone all that time, and, like, the fact that he came back and he knew everything, and then I remembered that Twilight got turned to stone by a cockatrice, and I'm just thinking, what if there was some sort of mystic world when they're turned to stone that they can communicate, and this whole idea just kind of snapped.
Like, there was it in Scott Pilgrim. Is it the subspace thing?
It might be. I just kind of made it up on the spot as I wrote.
It is a very interesting idea, and I've only read part of it. I'm not quite familiar with your work. I apologize for that, but yeah, no, it is extremely well written.
Thanks.
Yeah, interesting idea, and you've fleshed it out nicely.
Yeah, thanks again. I mean, it's not exactly well written enough to get on Equestria Daily, but still, I'm glad that you guys liked it and that my audience liked it.
Have you tried getting it onto EQD?
Twice. Apparently there's some errors that I just fail to find every time I read through it.
Wow. Well, proofread it up and send it in again because, yeah, having a read of it as well. I think content-wise, it definitely is there and is a fascinating read to any of our listeners. Seriously, look this one up. From the fics I have read of yours, it is my favorite, so...
Glad to know. It's probably the reason for that, too. The rest aren't exactly all that age-appropriate.
Yes.
I did see a lot of mature tags.
I promise anything off the side of gore that's still mature wasn't written by me. It was featured in my story by someone who insisted it had to be there.
So when you say that someone else insisted it had to be there, you didn't write... The story we're talking about is Until the End. It is a Lyra and Bonbon fic. You didn't write the questionable material in that one?
I wrote the first, leading up to it, and then most of the scene, I had him do, the actual sort of content. He wanted it to be there, so I helped him out by making the scene, and he kind of made it what he envisioned. And then when he sent it back, I proofread a little bit of it, kind of trusted that he had proper proofreading, and then skipped to the next part.
Is this one of those? See, I'm always of the opinion it's better just to imply what's happening and to let the reader envision what happens, because there's nothing scarier than that what you can't read.
Well, I just find it rather disturbing, to be honest. It's just not two really things that mix with me. I love Lara and Bonbon, but I just can't read that sort of material.
Yeah, I think as well when it comes into when we're going into this sort of territory, it is equally as horrifying whether or not it's implied. Sometimes I think more so when it's actually written down.
Well, I'm still I like the implication because of the fact that most of the times when I read the essentially gore fics, just the way that they try to do it, it comes out as being, well, literally bloody hilarious. You can't take it seriously and you just start laughing at it.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. I laughed at Cupcakes especially. Like, it was not, the grammar was good, but it was horribly written. It was bad to the point it was funny.
Well, in that case, I think if I were to ever show off my fic, you guys would find it hilarious in that regard.
Everyone has some kind of old shame.
I might have to read that now.
Yeah, it's staying buried and hidden. For some reason, I had the wonderful idea in my head, let's ship Apple Bloom and Celestia.
What?
Well, points for having a unique ship, I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's actually not that unique. I'm pretty sure, Lara and Bonbon was one of the most popular next to Octavia and Vinyl.
No, I mean the Apple Celestia. Applestia? No, that's Applejack.
Oh, his fic.
Celebloom.
Yes,
there you go.
I've never heard that one before. Ever.
Well, initially it was going to be a two-parter with a part one when they first meet and then a part two when it actually turns into the ship part when Apple Bloom is older. But it never left the first part just because I felt bad about writing such a horrible idea.
There are times when you just have to do that.
Still, it sounds interesting. Celebloom.
Celebloom. A challenge out there for any, listeners. Send in your, Cella Bloom fic scenarios, I'd actually like to hear and see if it's at all related to what mine was.
For hard mode, don't go with adult Apple Bloom. And for extreme mode, Luna Scoots.
Luna Scoots is doable.
I've heard of those before, actually. Yes, I have.
I know of, it's not so much shipping, but Sally Scoot, kind of, because there was one where Scootaloo's actually the daughter of Celestia. There is that fanfic out there. It's actually pretty amusing.
I would like to hear that one.
Well, at least it gives her a mother, I guess. I'll give you guys a sneak peek for like anyone listening as well. I am planning a sort of fic. It's another grimdark, not so gory, but it's more of a in-depth analysis of why Pegasuses don't have parents. It's gonna be quite chilling.
I just realized we got the Grimdark Rider
Oh boy.
for, 2 days after Nightmare Night. I just now realized that.
We totally meant for this to be a Halloween episode.
yeah,
so,
this is the Halloween episode, Grimdark. Woo!
Ooh. All the intermissions will be Monster Mash.
I guess it's a good excuse to be able to talk about these other fics as well.
Have you ever read Party of None?
No, I heard of it. I haven't read it yet.
Really? That is...
Yeah.
Okay, here's a summary of the Grimdark fics I've read. So Cupcakes, like I said, it was bloody hilarious. Rainbow Factory, it just made me kind of shake my head, and I kept on reading through because everyone was talking about it.
I made Rainbow Factory my bitch, man. I was laughing so hard at that fic.
I wasn't laughing. I was just like, this is just bad.
It was terrible.
It's not even the bad way I can make fun of it. It's just.
Well, if you go to it's not as bad as Sweet Apple Massacre. That was just bad. I couldn't laugh at it.
Sweet Apple Massacre, I did actually laugh at.
I couldn't even laugh at it.
I rate Rainbow Factory the worst simply because of the fact that, not because it's badly written or well, I mean it is, but simply because of the fact that there's just nothing there. It's not well enough written to enjoy it, and it's not bad enough to enjoy it for being bad.
You have a lot of valid
It's kind of
points.
it's the Manos Hands of Fate of Grimdark Pony fanfiction.
Manos, the hands
Yes.
of fate.
We'll see. I don't just read those, but they're just entertaining because they're always usually bad ones, especially the ones drawn by like the new 12-year-old writers who think alicorns are cool.
I mean, there's so there's two Grimdark. One of them is actual dark, not Grimdark, just dark. That's actually, I wouldn't say worse. It's a really good read. And when I say worse, I mean actually is disturbing as compared to the Grimdark ones. Then there's one which is, I'd say it's Grimdark, which did leave me disturbed because it's actually very well written. And the summary, and this will never ever go in the podcast, but I'll give you this will never ever go in the podcast. Never ever.
Yeah, that's what you think.
The short summary. I started reading it. I called the fic that shall not be named. Because I refuse to name it around anyone.
Okay.
Because 4chan itself has written it off.
Oh dear.
Pun? That's why I don't mention the name.
Did I get it?
Yeah, it starts off like with wanting to improve a friend's lives, and I'm just like, there's going to be a scene before the scene is over.
It!
And it happens.
I called the fic. Yes.
That fic already receives all my no.
I actually haven't read it. I just heard about it.
Yeah, from me. Don't read. And
call, Formal.
the other one, Party of None. The guy wrote it. He read Cupcakes. He thought, what if you make a fic that's more like, it's not gory, grimdark, source type stuff, but it's more of the not Edgar Allan Poe. Who's the guy who did like It and Shawshank Redemption? The famous writer. What the hell was his name?
Oh my
no
gosh!
idea.
I know it. It's
King.
Stephen King.
Stephen King. Yeah, he wanted to make Stephen King style fic, and so he made Party of None, which is an alternate ending to Party of One, where the bit where Rainbow Dash gets sat on and then she's like, no, that's a Party of, and drags Pinkie off. No, it keeps going. It keeps going after that, and Pinkie Pie plays a whole bunch of party games with Rainbow Dash in attempts to kill her. It's actually his thing. It's not gory. There's no like blood being spilled, but it's very obvious that Rainbow is being hurt quite badly psychologically as well. And just the way that Pinkie Pie, she's laughing, but it's very obvious that she's just broken.
I just want to know, like, so all these writers, what did Rainbow do? What did she do?
I don't know. I think he just wanted to show why you can do something that's actually disturbing without going to grimdark.
He's too innocent to twist.
And yeah, it's really well written, and the fact that it's all in character and all that kind of stuff, it's a brilliant read.
How is Pinkie trying to murder someone in character?
because she's trying to do it in the form of a party, as in not being happy. Like she's broken.
I guess if she's broke, like Pinkamena maybe. But...
It's not that she's snapped and she's gone all happy crazy. It's the fact that she's broken and is just gone.
Pinkamena style broken, or just
Pinkamena style broken.
Yeah, well that makes sense. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
In character, she does break for that scene, so that's not too surprising when...
The fact that she sits on Rainbow's face, come on. And that can be taken out of context.
Yeah, that could be taken in a whole bunch of horrible context.
Screw it, I'm just gonna put that up on the NSFW quotes.
No, but I want to go back to the point that Strum brought up earlier with the why is it that Rainbow always seems to die in fanfics?
Oh, have you heard of the Worf effect?
Yes, I have.
I have not.
Okay. The Worf effect is basically when you want to show, like, when the Borg show up in Star Trek, Worf tries to go and punch him in the face, and they're just like, whatever, and throw him off. It's showing that the new bad guy is so powerful that the most powerful hero character can't stand up to them.
So, Mary Sue.
That's the Worf effect. No, just by showing the new threat. It's like in Stargate when Teal'c isn't able to punch something in the head, or in... I'm trying to think of other examples. Basically, when there's something that's...
Digimon. Every single season of Digimon, when they move from one big bad to the next, and like they try to attack it head on with all their powers, and they just get curb stomped every single time.
Yeah, when they have something, either an ability or a character or something like that, which is generally the go-to, and it's like, well, that's it, problem solved. Then somebody else comes in, and, well, we'll do the normal thing. It's like, oh crap, that didn't work. Now what? It's trying to show that it's an actual threat. So, with ponies, the three alternatives are discounting Pinky's fourth wall abilities, Twilight for magic, Rainbow Dash for being the very athletic, hard-hitting one, and Applejack for being the farm pony who has enormous strength. Twilight is obviously going to be the main character, so she has to be around last in order to solve whatever happens, or to be the last one to die. Applejack is just too boring to be in effect, so that leaves Rainbow Dash.
You're already predicting a lot of my next the next chapter of my story.
And also, that explains Grimdark, but doesn't explain the other, I guess the pony gets sick and dies type stories, which always seems to be...
Those are boring.
Well, yeah, those are boring.
Okay, if you're talking about stuff like RD losing the ability to fly or becoming blind,
I hate
like
those
that.
Stories. There are so many of them, and
Yeah,
they all have
they
the
are.
same damn thing.
I'm over them as well. They're all just a prelude to shipping, because I think people have caught on very quickly that RD's thing is that she's super confident, which, as to quote from that guy, ask that guy with the glasses, overconfidence is the ultimate sign of being supremely fragile emotionally. And so they think that if you take away RD's ability to fly, she's just going to break, and you can do a lot with that character then.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Despite the fact that the show's able to do it. I mean, read it or weep.
I mean, you take away everything from Pinky, and she just gets...
AJ is confident, yet no one has really tried to break her yet.
They kind of did an apple-bucking season simply because of the fact that she, the element of honesty, she has all of the honor, she would stick to her word, and when it became too much, she just kept on trying to go at it, even when it was obviously failing.
Well, I'm getting a hint from that... You guys saw the Season 3 titles, right? I'm getting a hint that maybe will be her crazy episode.
I've been avoiding as many spoilers as I can, including episode names, but I do like that one.
I would like to see an episode where Applejack is put in a situation where she's forced to be dishonest, or like she can't actually meet her word, and then what happens then? So, like, not with Applebucket. No,
like an expansion
I'll
of Party
what happens
1.
when Applejack doesn't keep her promise. Yeah, she broke her pinky promise.
Not that, but she found the loophole. I'm saying something where, like, she makes the promise and fully intends to keep it, and then she misses it for whatever reason. What happens then? That's what I would like to see from an Applejack episode.
Maybe she gets one of those pinky worries where she thinks everyone will be worried about it, or she just worries about it too much.
Not like the last roundup where it's all from the main cast. Is like, why is Apple running away? But from her perspective, so you know exactly what it is, and you're going along with Applejack as she's torn apart by whatever meaningless thing it was. Obviously not meaningless. They'd have to make it something.
Exactly, and I think that right there would make for a really killer Applejack episode.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I say about Applejack being the boring one, that's what everyone says, simply because she's just when you have the honest, hardworking character, bam, it's boring because there's nothing crazy, wacky, whatever going on. It's not that they have no character; they do have characters. Just people just don't find that interesting for some reason. Same thing with Captain America.
I mean, that's what you'd think about the shy character, but then she goes crazy in one episode, everyone goes nuts.
Well, I mean, then there's cuteness for that.
And they just haven't broken Applejack yet. The second they break Applejack, I think we'll be seeing much more Applejack love, which I'm hoping will happen.
Yeah, no more background status.
Continuing onwards, though, I would like to continue with this idea that you have. So you do plan on writing more fics then?
Yes, I'm going to continue the ones I've done, and because I haven't been writing for so long, and I feel like I owe everyone who's been reading my stories, I'm just going to bring out 2 more ones as well while I'm writing these ones. So I'm going to have 4 fics to keep up on, some more vectoring, all the good stuff that's going to keep me occupied for hours and hours.
Dude, you're a machine.
It's a good thing holidays are around the corner.
I'm so glad.
But now I'm going to be expecting a lot from you now. Just saying, because you have 4 more fics. I still want to see more vectoring. I'm still waiting to hear, yourself get more confidence in your music to start releasing it, because I have heard you are working on a few tracks.
Yes, namely Luna by Eurobeat Brony, but that's going to wait for the holidays, because Octavia's the one who'll be helping me film, and he's kind of busy finishing school.
Film?
Yeah, film the video clips.
Oh, so you're going
music video.
Music video. I was under the impression that it was just going to be audio tracks.
Oh, no. There's going to be YouTube videos.
Oh boy, oh.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna go in, you're gonna go whole hog.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's going to be so many tracks, I kind of just want to pile them up next to each other so people can see that I did play every single part of the song that's going to be in it.
So with that being said, Strum, I'd like to thank you once again for coming on to the show. It was a pleasure to have you, and I think it's really good. Hopefully you'll get a bit more publicity after this show, but that's assuming we have listeners as well.
Yeah, hopefully so, but thanks for having me on.
Well, no worries. Well, the fun isn't over yet as it stands. We still have plenty more show to come, but for now we're just going to take a quick little musical break. As StrumFreak is from Brisbane, so is the musical artist we're going to be highlighting tonight, that being DreadSabre, on his track, The Wrath of Twilight. So, enjoy.
And welcome back to Flankcaster. And we're moving straight along with myself, Formal Riot, and StrumFreak. And today we're looking at a random fic from the internets. Not so random, I got to choose it. This one's it's pretty old. It's a good year or so, I think. It was written up, and it's a nice, light-hearted fic that don't take it too seriously. It's called Twilight October.
The hunt for Twilight October.
Yes, the hunt for Twilight. No, it's not the hunt for Twilight. If it was, you would immediately think, "Oh, good, we've got Captain Twilight Ramius trying to escape from the lunar navy."
One of the tags on the story is submersible.
That's what they do, but not in the way you think. I just love the EQD description. This is what got me hooked on it. I'm looking through when I first started reading fanfics, I went to the 6-star thing on EQD, and this one just had the thing, and then Twilight was a submarine. That was it for the description. It's very simple. It's a nice, calm Sunday afternoon, and so all the ponies decide to play war games. They have an ocean of pillows in the library. Twilight is a submarine. Spike is a periscope. Pinky is a torpedo. They're versing against the aircraft carrier Applejack, the battleship Fluttershy, and also Rainbow Hawk.
Fluttershy's a battleship now?
Fluttershy's a battleship who insists on going toot-toot. Because she likes the idea of being a tugboat, apparently.
Oh, good, so everyone is in character. That's...
It is. It's not the longest. It's just a nice short story with a sequel. But yeah, it's very nice. It's lighthearted, and it's just good for a laugh, even if you don't know anything about submarine warfare. In fact, it's probably better if you don't know anything about submarine warfare.
Oh, really? Make it It sounds. I'm reading the descriptions of both the first one and then the second one, and I take it there was a winner and a loser then in both of these. Unfortunately, I haven't read them yet, but
they continue. Basically, the first one is just one of the engagements in finger quotes, and then it's like one character gets captured by the other side, and it's like, don't worry, we'll get them next time. Toot toot, and then it cuts. Pretty much the sequel just picks up from there, where it's trying to actually end the game, and then some stuff happens, and it comes out of nowhere, but at the same time, it's just because of how lighthearted it is. It's
not really.
It's the kind of random that you almost expect.
It's not really going along in theme exactly with the whole grim dark notion we've been going on before. Is there any way how we can make this horrible?
No, I think we need a break from the darkness.
No, let's make it so like.
And besides, Halloween's a fun night. It's not. I mean, Nightmare Night's the different one. The holiday for that is designed to be scary. Halloween, not so much.
Halloween's totally designed to be scary.
No, not
Mike
really.
Myers.
I mean, the number one song for this time of year is Monster Mash, and
Monster Mash is a horrible song.
It's an excellent song.
All I'm going to say is Mike Myers would like a word with you. Where is the Halloween fic crossover?
Halloween, the only ones I was thinking about getting some, but the problem is I haven't read that many Halloween ones, and I couldn't think of any in the short term that I could actually remember.
Unfortunately, the only Halloween crossover I've read was one crossed over with the movie Halloween, so
that's what I meant.
It's back into Grimdark.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I don't know. I'd like to see some crossovers in that front.
I mean, alright, how about this for the Halloween thing? Everyone go to YouTube and look up Flim Flam Philosophies. I probably brutalized that name. Look up his The Haunting? Yeah, The Haunting. His animation for Rainbow Dash Presents of the guy who wrote Past Sins, who wrote a dark Halloween style story.
Yes, no, that is a very good, and that YouTube video is great. We will link it below. Continuing from that, though, I always do find these, sort of parallels between Equestria and, Earth reality quite fascinating, and I kind of wanted to divulge into that a bit more, being Equestrian fairy tales compared to the fairy tales of our own. What kind of fairy tales do you think they exactly had? What kind of stories? What kind of myth? I've always found it fun, because a lot of Equestria is based off of human mythos with, unicorns and griffins and manticores and all that. Do they have stories of, skyscrapers and businesses and TPS reports and that kind of do they sort of have?
I'm pretty sure the last one of that is the description for Pony Hell. You're stuck in a cubicle all day, And this one griffin comes up to him and is like, "Hey, I'm gonna need you to come in for the rest of eternity."
Well, exactly. That would be their Halloween. That's their nightmare night right there.
That's not their nightmare night. That's their nightmare.
Oh yeah, it's just Lyra's actually psychologically broken. It's like, you had the dream again, didn't you? Yes, I was stuck in a cubicle with all these other monkeys.
It was horrible.
No, I mean, the way I've always seen it, this is what the one thing I really I don't like about MLP at times is the fact they decided to do direct comparisons. The way they did Nightmare Night was fantastic. I mean, All Hallows Eve is about, I can't even remember anymore. But it's evolved into kids going off to get candy.
Yeah.
Nightmare Night actually worked that into the mythos with the fact that everyone knew about Nightmare Moon, as a mythical figure, and they thought, oh no, at times you will come and kidnap your children, so you need to make sure they're disguised and that.
Do you think maybe they made all that up though after the first episode? I mean, nobody seemed to react until Twilight perked up about the name.
Well, no, because they did mention several times that it's an old mare's tale. Like, there was knowledge of the mare of the moon. You could look up and see the moon and see the mare in the moon. It was just everyone accepted that as a myth, like not as much of a reality. And Twilight was running around saying it's real.
Yeah,
I guess you have a point. Yeah, you have a point.
This might seem like a bit of a tangent, but there's a trope called not using the Z word, which is in a zombie movie, you never have people calling them zombies. And apparently, the same thing, psychologically, the same thing would happen in real life. If you saw actual, the living dead, you probably wouldn't call them zombies. You'd call them other things that are screwed up, because there's the myth, and then there's there's the myth, and then there's reality. And when you see the myth in reality, your brain kind of goes, no, they can't exist. So when the ponies first saw Nightmare Moon, they're just like, what the hell is that?
I guess I could see...
And it didn't click.
I could see how that's a trope, but I'm not sure how based that trope would be in reality. I'm pretty sure if I saw, the undead walking around attacking people, I would be quick to call them zombies.
But if if people said, yes, these are the dead who have come back to life, you're just like, yeah, no, that can't happen. Come on. It's April Fool's Day, isn't it? It was September.
Yes, it's April Fool's Day. They're just playing around with red confetti coming out of their bodies.
Okay, I'm just going to throw this one out there. Right now, you two obviously are not prepared for the zombie apocalypse, and I weep for you when it finally comes.
Dude, I am prepared for the zombie apocalypse, but I understand the psychology of people.
I have a plan. I have a plan. It's just probably not going to work, because I have no access to any of the resources that I need.
Fair enough.
Like firearms, because we're in Australia.
Exactly.
Carrying that over, though, if ponies were then to show up, would we just be like, nope, that's not a flying pony?
You'd be like, no, that's...
I would go hug them.
I would be taken back. Actually coming across, a talking equine would be, holy crap, what the hell have I been smoking? There would be that initial thing, but, if it's something that's actually capable of communicating to you, I know, maybe that's a bit less of a barrier. If they're actual sapient?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I would probably react similar in the what have I been drinking for the past 5 minutes? Oh, just water? Okay, I have officially gone insane. But, yeah, I don't think I'd react well.
And have it one day.
Yeah.
Someone slipped something into my Mountain Dew.
Oh, no.
But back on the mythology, that's why I was actually a little bit annoyed with Hearthwarming Eve. Because of the fact that Luna's got the Summer Sun celebration, which is obviously at the summer solstice, and that's a general celebration in most of the world. Just nothing like what is there? There's a harvest festival and there's the Easter festival and all that kind of stuff.
Well, in Hearthwarming Eve, didn't they say there were several different types of ways to tell the story? Did they just told their own one that was most popular in Canterlot?
I think so. I can't quite remember, but what I really wanted it to be was the fact that you've got the summer solstice. So what about the winter solstice, which is what Christmas is about? I mean, the human version is basically, congratulations, we grew enough food, we survived the longest night of the year. We didn't freeze to death, we didn't starve, therefore we'll have a giant party and eat all the food.
Huzzah!
I would so go to that party.
I was kind of hoping it would be more, not like Nightmare Night, it would be a bit more lunar themed, like a celebration of, the goddess of the night during the longest night of the year.
Yeah, well, think about it. They didn't give Luna many roles anyway. Why would they give her one there?
Yeah, true.
As much as we would have all liked it.
Yeah, I think another thing too is they kind of adapted the Nightmare Night as Luna Night. So, and Luna isn't in charge of anything. Celestia gets 5 holidays. Luna gets. They
made a smart decision there. They knew people would have been scared of Luna after.
It's been a year though, possibly over a year. We don't know.
I thought. See, that's if you're assuming the episodes are in like chronological order. I like to assume that the Nightmare Night happened a week later, and Celestia wasn't, a complete jerk and told Luna, like withheld from Luna that times they haven't changed in the past 1,000 years.
Yeah, I kept the secret for a whole year that things have stayed the same.
Yeah, Luna, keep yelling at everyone. Trust me, they enjoy it. They enjoy it.
It's like, no, I mean, it could just be an understanding. I mean, I understand where Trollestia comes from, but at the same time, you could kind of think that she, when dealing with her sibling, at the very least, she'd be like, remember when you're projecting to the crowd, you actually project. It's like, yes, sister, thou knows us. I can't do Old English. Yes, sister, we know about doing the projecting, yada yada. And then she goes to interact with people one-on-one. That goes badly.
Yes, but there's also a year.
Interacting with people 101.
You suggested that it would have been a whole year as well. And I think in a year, Luna would have picked up on something isn't quite right here.
Probably in a year.
And now I'm shifting over to, you made the argument, what if it was only a week later? I'm like, well, yeah, I guess you could take it out of canon. I've seen the arguments from both sides.
I mean, how long did it go from that episode to, like, the season finale for number 2? And she still kind of spoke like that. She kind of dropped it a little bit, but I could have sworn, like, when she was on top of the balcony.
Only again, when she was for most of the episode, when she was speaking, those few lines, she was projecting. Yep. She had to project because, there was great distance.
The balcony scene as well, I really think they just added in for the sake of adding it in. Because Twilight just ignores her completely.
I don't have to listen to you. You know my mother, or Celestia.
Did you guys watch the season 3, like, first 8 minutes? It happens again.
Yeah. I guess, I don't know, I just do, like, want to point out again, Twilight does completely ignore Luna when she does call out to her on that balcony. She's just like, oh yeah, that's nice, stay indoors. I don't know what relevance that has. I'm going inside now.
I don't think anyone knew what relevance that had. It made no sense at all.
It really didn't. It was a nice touch. I mean, at least the more mature fans got a kick out of it. Yeah. Quite unfortunate that her entire role in that episode was so marginalized.
I mean, she lives... It's obvious from when she arrives on the scene that she spends the night in the moon.
Yes.
Maybe she's like the eternal vigil, like that thing that's in 40K. Was it the laser moon or something?
Possibly. Just 1,000 years. I've seen everything, so let's just go back and then come back for specifically to keep watch.
I don't know.
Yeah, but she's no longer trapped in the moon. She's maybe just up there. It's like, yes, now I can finally allow my senses to go to wander the galaxy and stuff.
Well, after 1,000 years on the moon as well, and then you're suddenly taken away from it, you would get withdrawals and you'd want to go back and visit.
No, not after 1,000 years.
So that being said, there's a little something I'd like to hear back from our listeners out there. Where was Luna exactly during the events of the Season 2 finale?
And if there's any comments about her actually being Queen Chrysalis?
I'm going to...
Yeah, we're just going to ignore those.
I won't be happy with that. I'm going to be keeping posted for those.
Yeah. I've never actually heard that theory, but...
I've heard plenty of theories regarding the changelings. They're never good. They're always the same thing. I think I read one fic called Scootling. That was alright, but... Apart from that, there's not really any good ones. They're all the same.
There's a couple I've read. Most of them are just... It alternates between them being a capable army. Then there's the ones where they're just a bunch of essentially kids who have no idea what's going on. And then there's the one where they are literally just drones. And it's considered weird when one of them actually starts to become empathetic with other ponies and actually starts speaking.
You know what was a good changeling fic, actually, that I read? Which, it was a comedy. When I say good in a loose term, it was very enjoyable. It was a comedy. But essentially, every single character
was a changeling.
Turned out to be a changeling.
I've heard of that one.
Except for Celestia. And like, what happens is they all reveal themselves in Ponyville. And it just turns into this giant changeling, like, 3-sided civil war. And then Celestia's just there in the middle of it, freaking out. Just like, what the hell is going on? And, like, you know, the main six are turning on each other. Chrysalis is coming in. It's just like, aha, Applejack was a spy for me all along. But wait, no, Applejack was actually working for that other changeling that Lyra was, who apparently was, like, some high-up general wanting to plan a revolt. And it's just crazy.
I'll have to have a look at that one.
That was a changeling. I don't remember the name and I don't remember the author, but that was a changeling fic done right. That being said, unfortunately, our time is up for tonight. Once again, I'd like to thank you, StrumFreak, for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me. It was lots of fun.
And Paingod as well. Your first stint as a panelist. We will be hearing from you again in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, most definitely. Had a blast.
And once again, I'd like to thank you, our listeners, for tuning in once again. Send us any emails of questions or comments to flankcaster@gmail.com. Furthermore, we'd like to hear, as I said before, where was Luna? What grimdark fics do you enjoy? Pretty much anything. We'd love to hear from you. Also, feel free to check out our Tumblr. We have a Facebook page. We have a YouTube account. We're everywhere. All the social media sites. So go ahead and check them out. And thanks again for listening. I have been Formal Riot. Until next time.
Yay.
Yay.